Picture this. It's 1893 and the young man stands in the courtroom in Durban, South Africa. The air is heavy, thick with tension. The room feels suffocating, cold, as if the very walls are closing in on him. Sunlight barely sneaks through the grimy windows, casting long shadows that make everything seem distant and welcoming. This man, trembling and out of place, is Mohandas Gandhi. At the center of the room, Gandhi is overwhelmed by fear. His hands shake as he holds a stack of papers. The weight of the moment is crushing. Around him, confident lawyers sit with their smug expressions while the judge watches him stern and silent. Gandhi's heart beats so loudly it feels like the whole room can hear it. Sweat drips down his face. He tries to speak, but his voice fails him. It shakes and the whole room falls silent. Then the people in the courtroom begin to laugh, at first quietly, then louder as they mock him. Gandhi's face turned red with humiliation. He gathers his papers, his head low, and walks out. Each step feels heavier than the last. To anyone watching, it looks like the end of his career. But it wasn't the end. This moment, this failure, was just the beginning. Gandhi didn't let this moment break him. Instead, he used it as fuel to ignite transformation. He returned home alone with his thoughts and faced his deepest fears. What he uncovered within himself would change everything. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the strength to rise even when fear threatens to drown you. Years later, the same man who once fled a courtroom would stand tall against the might of an empire, the British Empire, the most powerful force the world had ever seen. Gandhi had no army, no weapons, only the unwavering power of truth and non-violence. He led millions in India's fight for freedom, walking barefoot to make salt, fasting to inspire change, and speaking with a voice that could not be silenced, no matter what. The young man who once had been too afraid to speak became a living testament to unshakable courage. His rise didn't just lift India, it inspired the whole world. It showed us that no matter how humble our beginnings, we all have the power to create legacies that change everything. Across the world, in a different time, there was another man whose life was filled with failure, pain, and loss. Like Gandhi, he faced overwhelming odds, and yet he rose from the ashes of his defeats to become one of history's most transformative leaders. Imagine a young man isolated in a cold, dimly lit cabin. With no formal education, no wealth, just a single book, he teaches himself by the faint glow of a fire. His dream is larger than his circumstances, and though the odds are stacked against him, he refuses to give up. His first business fails, leaving him deep in debt. He runs for office twice and loses both times. Then tragedy strikes. The woman he loved is taken from him, followed by the loss of 2 children. The grief threatens to overwhelm him. Yet despite it all, he refuses to let these setbacks define him. Time and again, he rises. With each failure, he learns. With each heartbreak, he grows stronger. He turns his pain into perseverance and his despair into unwavering determination. Through it all, his dream remains unshaken. In the face of relentless adversity, he becomes a symbol of resilience. His journey proves that even our deepest wounds can shape a purpose that transforms the world. That young man wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was Abraham Lincoln, a man who didn't just survive but changed the world. Born into poverty, Lincoln's life was marked by failure and loss. He lost his first job, failed in business, and he was rejected in politics time and time again. But each defeat only deepened his resolve, making him more determined. When the country was torn apart by civil war, Lincoln made a choice that would alter history. He declared every enslaved person would be free. The courage to make such a decision, despite unimaginable opposition, showed his unbreakable spirit. Though criticized relentlessly, burned by personal pain, and facing fierce political resistance, Lincoln stood tall. His unwavering belief in justice gave rise to the Gettysburg Address, one of history's most powerful speeches, reminding the world that a nation divided could unite in liberty. Lincoln's hardship shaped him, turning each struggle into a lesson that gave him the strength to lead. His life reminds us that even in our darkest hours, light can emerge, and through perseverance, we too can change the world. Pause for a moment. Think about where you are in your life right now. Where have you felt knocked down? Where have you faced challenges that seemed impossible to overcome? Maybe you are in that place right now, feeling like you can't go on. But I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are meant to rise. No one, and I mean no one, reaches success without going through fire. What others call overnight success is the result of years of failures, struggles, and overcoming moments of doubt that most people never see. You don't get to the top by staying on the safe ground. You get there by daring to fall, daring to fail, and daring to get up. Think about Lincoln and Gandhi. They weren't born with extraordinary gifts. They were ordinary people who faced the impossible and chose to keep going. Gandhi didn't give up. Lincoln didn't give up. They fought through every challenge, and so can you. They weren't perfect. They were relentless. And that is what made them unforgettable. Success isn't handed to anyone. It's earned through struggles, failures, and the courage to get back up. Your setbacks don't define you. They're just a stepping stones to your future. Every time you rise, you become stronger. Every time you face your fears, you build the strength to overcome them. Now think about your own story. I know there are people who doubt you. I know you've doubted yourself. Maybe you failed. Maybe you felt like hiding from the world. But I promise you this. Your setbacks are not the end of your story. They are just building blocks for your future. Failure is not a roadblock. It's the greatest teacher. It's the proof that you are trying, that you are alive, that you are willing to risk everything to pursue what matters the most. Every time you rise after a fall, you are one step closer to the life you want. So what's the next move? The world will tell you to stop, to give up, to settle for less. But you don't stop. You don't give in. You keep moving forward. You push past the doubts, the fears, the setbacks, because every single step you take is a proof that you are alive, that you are stronger than you know. You have everything inside you to keep going. Success is not about never failing. It's about having the courage to rise every time you do. So what will you do now? Will you let fear keep you stuck, or will you rise higher than you ever thought possible? The choice is yours. And remember, you are meant for more. Before we close, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you've done that you thought was impossible? Share it with me in the comments below. Let's celebrate your victories together. And always remember, you have the power to rise no matter what. Until next time, live well.